screw your freedom.
Folks, this is a very upsetting video. We're going to get to it. Of course, I need to do the disclaimer. This is all satire. It's all a big joke. So let's get this disclaimer in and let you think about it. Soylent Green. Yeah, what they put inside of us, folks. What's inside of us all?
They're making our food out of people. Next thing, they'll be breeding us like cattle for food. You gotta tell them. You gotta tell them.
Promise, Tiger. I promise. I'll tell the exchange.
You tell everybody. Listen to me, Hatcher. You gotta tell them. Soylent Green is people!
What are they putting inside of us? Well, folks, let's start just by saying the SHTF is inside of us all. I could make this a completely philosophical video and it would apply directly to what's going on in the world, in our countries, in our locales, and in ourselves. It is a spiritual battle. It is a microscopic battle. The thing that makes us human, what makes us different, is our souls and our DNA. It is unique among all the animals in the world, right? That we have a thinking mind and articulate hands and bodies, yet that's being affected, right? If we've got a prepared mind, an intelligent mind, if we're understanding what they're feeding us, all of these lies and what they want to inject into us, we get a better understanding of where they're taking us. And the evidence for that all, folks, is being hidden. And I've got a story that is going to shock you, and it's not being talked about because we're all being told, too busy, think about Ukraine and all the Ukrainian women and children. Worry about that. Be afraid of Russia. Be afraid of an external threat when we need to think about one that's inside of us or possibly inside of us. One they're being told that you don't have a choice on, that you need to give up that choice.
And not just to think about, well, my freedom is being kind of disturbed here. No, screw your freedom.
There comes a time when you do have to give up what you consider your individual right of making your own decision.
Making your own decision. Now, I've talked about this many times, and we need to all really reflect on it hard. The most perfect human specimens are our super athletes, not for their minds, but for their body, their physical body. The human body, as I said, fingers, hands, muscles is important. Our mind is the other side of this equation. Right? The physical part of us, our incredible brains and our incredible bodies. Well, those with the most incredible bodies have taken the Jim Jones juice. And I thought we need to look and watch the super athletes and see what happens with them. And those chickens are coming home to roost. I really do believe, folks, that the NFL players have not taken the actual Jim Jones juice. That they cut a deal because of the, shall we say, exposure they have to the world. But other athletes are suffering, and we've seen it in the soccer, known as football in Europe. We've seen it in bicycling. We've seen some of it in basketball. We've seen it in children, even high school sports athletes. But this happened this weekend in tennis, folks. The tennis world was rocked, not in some third world shithole country, but in the United States of America, and it's not being covered. In Miami, not some backwater, not some little high school. In Miami, at the Miami Tennis Open, the Miami Open, 15 folks, not one, not two, but 15 tennis players were unable to finish the tournament. Super athletes can't finish, right? Now, I do know that in order to play tennis, because I played it in high school with my brother often, it's a cardiovascular exercise. It tests your durability, your stamina, your heart, your lungs, your muscles. Tennis is actually an incredible sport. Played at the level these people play, it really shows you that they are also super athletes. Hand-eye coordination on an infinitesimally small level where the ball has to be hit, go arc down, land in the court, hitting the ball over 100 miles an hour. It is an incredible sport. It's not action-packed like hockey or football, the way we think of those sports, but it takes an incredible amount of energy. 15, folks, and guess what? In order to play in this tournament, everyone had to be fully juicinated. 15 players dropped out. 15 players can't finish. Now, this article covered in the Daily Liberty talks about it. The tennis world reacted with shock after their favorites. That's right, in both the women's and the men's category, the favored players to win in this world-class tennis competition, they dropped out too. Right? They dropped out. And nobody, folks, in the mainstream media is talking about us, and none of them are pointing to the obvious. In order to compete, all players must be fully juicinated. Right? Most major sports have been hit with this inexplicable, medical excuse, popping up in young and very young athletes. Always healthy. You can't be a super athlete unless you're healthy. And now we have health issues everywhere. There is no other viable possibility as to what this could be. And the CDC, folks, have said that the juice, right? Go ahead and go get your Jim Jones juice. It increases heart problems in young people specifically, including enlarged heart attacks, pericarditis, myocarditis, and other physical heart, pulmonary, lungs, as well as brain issues, nervous system issues, right? And there has never been, in the words of this article, there has never been as much gaslighting and propaganda geared towards covering up the truth than with the Jim Jones juice. Right? The whole world is really sold itself on how good it is, how safe it is, how you must take it. There's no way, folks. There is no way you can look at what is happening now with human health and not see the negative effects. Yet it's still being pushed. And it is part of the Great Reset agenda, which is about control. Is it about depopulation? Obviously, the Reset agenda is about money, about empire. But it's also about controlling us on an individual basis. And I will conclude for myself. And you get to decide for yourself. I don't get to tell you what to believe and think. But I have seen time after time examples where people are having health problems, personal health problems, and they're not sharing it with everyone else. And folks, I guess they shouldn't have to, right? That's what HIPAA is about. You don't have to come out and tell everyone your health issues. Well, I guess unless it's to say, I don't need the JJJ, the Jim Jones juice, nor the juice booster. And I'm certainly not going to get a second, third, or fourth, and fifth juice booster. But this is incredibly dangerous. They're continuing to push this, folks. Now it's in the background, but they're trying to scare people with more outbreaks. What do you believe? Do you believe that big pharmaceutical, which says you're not smart enough to understand this, and you don't need to see the ingredients, and you don't get to see our own internal reports on efficaciousness, safety, right? Trying to file for papers to hide the evidence for 70 years on something they want to mandate? For me, the answer is no effing way. What is it for you, right? Remember, Jim Jones, he took his entire religious cult from the United States of America down to French Guiana and South America. Once he separated his people mentally and physically, but mentally, right? What's inside of us? Our minds. He took them to South America, and then he prescribed to them his own Jim Jones juice, his magic Kool-Aid, folks. And it killed them all. And he was happy. He was more than happy because he had the power over those people. And that's what he wanted. He had control of their thinking. And he gave them a mandate. You will drink the Jim Jones juice. Is it a cult that's out there? It is, folks. It's a political, social, and religious cult. And they do what they're told. And they're very dangerous. And I think they're making a nation of sick and zombified people. Keep listening to the news and see, listen, right? Eyes to hear, ears to hear, and eyes to see. Will they cover what happened at the Miami Open? I'm willing to bet that even in Miami, they're not talking about it in the mainstream news or the sports page of, I think, the Miami Herald down there. Are you prepared for what's coming, folks? After a year now, super athletes are starting to just fall out of tournaments. They can't do it anymore. What have they done to themselves, folks? What have they done to themselves? And what are these pharmaceutical giants and political leaders? Should I call them cult leaders like Jim Jones himself? What are they doing to people and nations and the world? You have to decide for yourself. I can't do it for you. I can't step up for you. I can't make the decision for you. All I can tell you is that for myself, there's no effing way I will be getting anywhere near that garbage. Guys, be cool, be safe, be prepared, because chance favors the prepared mind. Go to the club, thepreparedmind.club. Whether you need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, putting together a plan, all the information we have is available there. You just have to navigate through the site, think about what you need to be prepared, and get it done while supplies last. Because, oh yeah, China has now joined Russia in their alliance, which means they're going to start tightening the valve on things that we need in this country. We're going to have more supply line issues. We're going to have greater inflation. So being prepared now is going to be a lot easier and less expensive than a month from now, 2 months, 6 months. Get prepared, folks. Harder times are coming. Godspeed. Semper Fi.